Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we are going over the suggestions past developers for December 2022. It's time to have a look at the mechanics section so we can see what is going on with it. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also like the video. The first suggestion is introducing balanced tank warfare-centric maps to rank 6. So this was a post made in 2018 and has 4 specific points. The first one is a standard minimum size of 3 km by 3 km map size in all battle types, AB, RB, and SB, and arcade maps should not be smaller than RB, SB at rank 6, therefore completely screwing people who are stock grinding or even close to stock grinding vehicles, and therefore only favoring people who are fully spaded vehicles. Number 2 is realistic topography for the most part, with a balanced design, which is a bunch of weasel words which don't actually mean anything. Number 3 is a new capture system, which is not pointed out on how to do, and 4 is introduction of user-made maps in the official map rotation at rank 6. Only if they're actually useful, is probably the way that I would put forward. So, as you see, another wonderful post which has a bunch of arguments against stuff that don't exist and also uses wonderful words which are very, let's say, expansive and can be moved in any way, shape or form. The next suggestion is a divide between aircraft BR, between air, ground and naval. This has been something that has been asked since air and ground has been a thing, and unfortunately the answer has always been it can't be done. But then again, there is a lot of things when it comes to War Thunder where people were told that it can't be done and then it became done, so we'll have to see what goes on with it. The basic thrust of the post is to have different BRs for different game modes instead of just arcade, realistic, and simulator. Have it for combined arms, naval, and also air. We'll see if it happens in the future. The next post is specifically looking at countermeasures and the idea of having separate buttons for chaff and flares. If you don't know how it works right now, if you hit the countermeasures button, then it will fire the flares and the chaff in sequence, depending on how you have it set up, and then also depending on how the airplane itself is set up. So this specific post is just asking for you to be able to separate that via buttons. So therefore, if you only wanted to fire flares, if you had chaff loaded, then you would be able to do that by the click of that button, and then if you only wanted to fire chaff, you could click the button that that's attached to as well. There's a person here asking for a weekly Twitch drop. Obviously, Twitch drops have been centered around updates usually or special events, but this one would be something which would be a smaller reward which is available all the time. Basically, if you watch for a certain period of time, you get a small reward, e.g. something like war bonds or maybe a treasure case with different bonuses in it. This is obviously designed to increase the publicity of the game and also good for the player since they can get extra stuff. The problem I personally have with Trips drops is basically it gives a false sense of where viewership actually is. It artificially increases viewership to a point where it is kind of can give false factors and therefore people can garner value which they don't deserve. This is a problem which has been all the time when it comes to these things because people do not interact with the channels, so they just disappear. So, in my opinion, when it comes to the Twitch drop stuff, it should be used for special events. I don't like this idea of massively promoting stuff which is going to have no beneficial difference in the long run. And that is from somebody who technically benefits from these things. There is also asking for carbon dioxide fuel tank fire extinguishers for aircraft, specifically Japanese ones, since they were the main user of these things. The basic way that this works is if a fire breaks out, then the pilot would manually push a switch, or later on a thermostat would do it automatically, and CO2 would be released or sprayed onto different areas, and that would quell the fire. A pretty simple system and very similar to how the EFS works in-game right now, and the idea is to spread it to a bunch of Japanese aircraft which also had a similar system. The next one is an ejection seat, a modern parachute with multicolor. You can kind of guess what this is all about, so therefore, you know, one of the oldest parts of the game gets modernized to the jet era, basically giving it and access to a better setup. Yeah, so just ejection seats, or ejection seats, sorry, and then also just different colored parachutes. They could even make some money out of it. You could even have it where your different parachutes cost different amounts of money. The last one is being able to collect daily rewards in the assistance for War Thunder app. So basically you could log in daily to the game without logging into the game. Now, the problem with doing this is the whole point of dailies is to incentivize you in playing the game on a daily basis. So if you're not actually doing that, then therefore there's not really much point in them if you can just access them in different areas. So I doubt they're going to do that, but, you know, still kind of a nice idea. That's all of the mechanics for the suggestions past developers for December 2022. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank Forge, Siegebreak, Carrion Crow, Nicholas Richardson, Elove Goat, Pyman, Winter Scientist, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie, B. Young, and also Sem Arslan, Wilkski, Uncle Bean, Derek R., Bareen, Lafouche, and Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.